How many people has Teabag killed? Theodore Bagwell was born on 10th of July, 1968. His father assaulted his Down syndrome-afflicted sister, Teabag's mom. When he was young, his dad made him read encyclopedias and dictionaries, telling him that this would make him a president. He was constantly in and out of jail for vandalism and torturing animals. He also tried to set his teacher's house on fire and was sentenced to juvenile hall. He later became a member of a white supremacist group. After sexually assaulting and killing 12 unnamed teens, he became one of the most wanted criminals. However, he was able to elude the authorities. During this time, he met a lady named Susan Hollander, a mother of 2 children. Teabag was charming, and Susan soon introduced him to the kids. One day, Susan saw that he was a wanted murderer and rapist on the television show, America's Most Wanted. She notified the police, and he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison for kidnapping, rape, and murder at a prison in Alabama. Teabag became a leader of the Alliance for Purity White Supremacists group and became so powerful that he was transferred to Fox River after his group was disbanded. However, Teabag soon founded another group at Fox River. He uses his power to prey upon other weaker prisoners, especially younger men. We first meet Teabag in Season 1, Episode 2 of Prison Break. After Michael Scofield tries to take a screw from the bleachers, he's approached by Teabag, who's interested in making him one of his special friends. Scofield refuses, telling him that he already has a girlfriend. During this conversation, Teabag reveals his group intends to attack the black inmates during a riot, and that Michael's life will be in danger if he doesn't get his protection. During the race riot, Teabag kills one of the prisoners by slitting his throat. When his special friend is killed, Teabag thinks Michael has done it and promises to kill him. Michael is saved by John Abruzzi, who has his own plans for Scofield. Abruzzi and his men kick Teabag's ass, sending him to the infirmary. When he comes back from the infirmary, he's given Seth, a young cellmate, and he forces him into a sexual relationship. Michael sabotages the air conditioning unit to cause commotion, which will lead to a lockdown and give himself time without the regular head count. But things get out of control. Teabag leads a riot and accidentally discovers that Michael is planning an escape. So, he tries to blackmail the group into being part of the escape plan. The CO is threatened with a picture of his daughter and told to keep his mouth shut. But Teabag follows him and kills him by stabbing him. Seth hangs himself after Michael refuses to help him, and Michael feels guilty. So when Teabag starts to harass a new inmate named Tweener, Michael hits Bagwell with a crowbar and tells him to leave Tweener alone. Though he's hated by the group, Teabag continues working with them, even helping them earn money to bid for Michael's cell. However, he has to warn the group that he will reveal their plan if they try to escape without him. When Teabag breaks out from Fox River with Scofield and the other inmates, he knows no one wants him around, and so he handcuffs himself to Scofield. However, Abruzzi is really tired of having to escape with Teabag, so he chops off his hand with an axe. As the rest of the group runs away, Bagwell is left running alone in the woods, with his hand tucked under his armpit as they are chased by the authorities. In Season 2, Teabag finds an animal clinic and tells Marvin Gudat, the veterinarian, to reattach his hand without any anesthetic. Gudat tries to persuade him to seek help elsewhere, but he threatens to end his life. After his hand is reattached, he kills Dr. Gudat via lethal injection, saying that he once made a mistake of believing that one of the people he didn't kill wouldn't talk to the authorities. He steals his clothing and car, bleaches his hair blonde, and decides to travel to Utah. After he tries to assault a teen girl that he met at a motel pool, the girl's dad attacks him, but Teabag beats him up and steals his car. He steals the map for the site, where Westmoreland left his money, destroys it, and forces Michael Scofield to work with him. After retrieving the money, Teabag switches the bag of money with a bag of magazines in it and runs away with all the cash. He hides the $5 million in a locker at a train station and decides to find Susan with her 2 kids. Teabag wants her to allow him to be part of the family again. When he arrives, he finds out that she left when she heard that he had escaped. Instead, he's captured by Bellick and Roy Geary. They torture him to discover the location of the $5 million and eventually force him to pass out the key. Bellick calls the police and leaves Teabag tied to a radiator. So he severs off his newly attached hand and escapes. He tracks his money using a tracker he left and finds Geary, who has betrayed Bellick and taken all the money. Geary is in a hotel room with some escorts. Before leaving with the money, Teabag kills Geary with a bottle and frames Bellick for the murder. when Teabag asks a war veteran where he got his prosthetic hand. The veteran insults him, so Teabag kills him and takes the hand. He later seduces a postal worker named Denise to get the new address of Susan, and after Denise sees his wanted poster, Teabag kills her. The kids come home from school and are happy to see Teabag, who tells them he lost his hand in a work accident and that he was compensated for every single digit that he lost. When the family tries to fight him and flee, he kidnaps them and takes them to his childhood home in Alabama. He sees them as his salvation and wants to start over, but he later understands that it's impossible. Though he's left heartbroken by the rejection, he releases the family and leaves. He decides to run and hide in Thailand. He sees a therapist named Eric Stammel, who resembles him, after he reveals to the therapist that he had no intention of speaking to him. The surprised man asks him why he's meeting with him. Bagwell kills him in his office. He uses the therapist's identity to buy a ticket to Bangkok. By bad luck, he finds Bellick at Mexico City International Airport and is forced to hide. He later travels to Panama. While there, he hires a sex worker he met on the streets, and after she refuses to do what he wants and begins to insult him and his obsession with Susan, he grabs her throat and kills her. Her body is found in the bathtub of the hotel room by the maid. He later kills another escort called Flora. Schofield impales his remaining hand to the floor with a knife found in the room and leaves him to be found by the police. Teabag is imprisoned in Sona, along with Schofield, Bellick, and Mahone. There, he immediately starts befriending Lechero, the prison boss, to make his life easier. Schofield blackmails Teabag using his past, which could get him killed to gain access to Lechero's cell phone. He gets Michael the cell phone, but when he puts back the phone, Lechero notices that someone used his phone. Bagwell saves himself by implying that it might have been Sammy, Lechero's most trusted man, and he's soon told to spy on the others. As expected, Teabag kills Lechero's head drug smuggler and dealer, Juan Nieves, by suffocating him with a plastic bag. Teabag once again forces himself into Schofield's escape plan, but Michael doesn't intend to escape with him. Schofield tricks Bagwell, Bellick, and Lechero, and they are captured while he successfully escapes. After their failed escape, Bagwell murders Lechero and becomes the head of prison by giving money to the prisoners. He is able to escape later, and he decides to track Schofield to get his revenge for being left in prison. He also has a book which he knows is very important. The book belonged to Whistler, and he lost it during the escape. He kills his new friend Sancho when they get abandoned in the desert and eats parts of him to stay alive. He wants Schofield to figure out the contents of the book and its relevance to Sela, which he believes is worth millions of dollars. They eventually discover the book contains blueprints to the Gate Corporation building, including a path to the spot where Sela can be decrypted. Teabag and Schofield start working together again. During this time, he kills Vincent Sandinsky. Michael gives Sela to Kellerman and Michael, Lincoln Burrows, Sarah Tancredi, Fernando Sucre, Franklin, and Mahone are all given immunity. Teabag isn't included in the deal as the group decides he needs to return to prison for his crimes and also for betraying and trying to kill Schofield, Lincoln, and Sarah on several occasions. In prison, he's again tricked into snitching and revealing Schofield's plan to get Sarah out of prison when he's not given the payment he was promised. He's later charged for aiding and abetting a prison escape for informing about the parachute and has to continue serving life at Fox River. In the Breakout Kings, he breaks out of prison to get revenge on the people who assaulted his mother in a retirement home. Teabag kills 7 people: the guard and the guard's driver, Wayne Garrett, and his girlfriend, Lorraine, the hospital agent called Arthur Bradshaw, and another hospital agent. Lastly, he kills Rodney Johnson, who he throws into a rock crusher. He's recaptured and interviewed by Dr. Lloyd Lowery, who says some machines come out of the factory broken, and says to him, "You're a broken machine." Several years later, he's released from prison by an unknown figure and is given a new robotic arm. It later turns out he was released by Michael Schofield, who is now trapped in a prison in Yemen, where he has been imprisoned with a terrorist, Abu Ramal, and asked to help in his escape. Michael uses Teabag because he knows Poseidon will not suspect him due to Michael and Bagwell's hatred for each other. Teabag works with Lincoln and Sarah to get Michael Schofield out of prison. As payment, he meets his son Whip. Turns out Teabag can actually have kids. He helps the group take down Poseidon, but Whip is killed by A&W in the process. So he murders A&W, which takes him back to prison. The last time we see him, he's assaulting Poseidon, who was made his cellmate by Schofield. knowing that Scofield had originally asked him to kill Poseidon, which he had agreed to do even before A&W killed his son. Teabag won't allow him to leave his cell alive. During Prison Break and Breakout Kings, Teabag killed at least 33 people and has most certainly killed many more off-screen. No other main character in Prison Break even comes close to Teabag's kill count.